Drop that information, brother. Whoa!
So are we African versus are we Aboriginal? Now most brothers and sisters, they would say that I am a Native American. I am not African whatsoever. I'm not going to associate myself as far as my ancestors being oppressed. They were never oppressed. They never had a slave master to tell them to do this or do that. They never was on the cotton plantation. They was never in Africa. They was already here in North America. But my thing is that if we're looking at a German Shepherd, a German Shepherd physically wasn't born in Germany, but based on the phenotypes of a German Shepherd, you can clearly see that he or she is from Germany. A German Shepherd has phenotypes. Hold on, 1%, please. I gotta go to something.
You just double click on the slide. Double click the slide. Nah, you don't want to do that. You just start over in the left corner. You click start the slideshow. Down over right over the slides. It's a menu. It should say start slideshow. Maybe if you hover over.
I don't see, brother.
Let me help you out, man. Oh. Okay, me.
Oh yeah, because I'm not on regular documents, I'm on docs. Yeah. Yeah, so.
You might have to just expand it like you was doing. German Shepherd. Civil rights dog. Fighting niggas in the ass.
This right here is the German Shepherd right here.
That's your favorite dog.
What's up? So system coming up. Yes. Now us. Now when I say us, I mean in Africans. We have the most polymorphisms than any other group on this planet Earth. Whether they are European, whether they are Asian, or whatever the case may be. Now poly means the ability for your organisms, your living cells, to change forms. Now many people will say like, what forms are you referring to? Well, we are referring to the forms that are phenotypes. Now, morphisms are the phenotypes that changes throughout time. Now, let's put this link over here. Let's see what the hell I'm saying. All right. Says the haplotypes consisting of the alleles or alleles are a short, condensed, repeats polymorphism. STRP and the allele deletion polymorphism at the CD4 geographically, disparate populations: 13 African, 12 Middle Eastern, 7 European, 9 Asian, 13 Pacific, and 8 Amerindian. Now, for the last one, Amerindian, these are natives that's from the North, Central, and South America. Sub-Saharan African populations had more haplotypes and exhibit more variability in frequencies of haplotypes than in North East African and non-East African populations. And now little deletion. Displayed 12 chromosome sample from groups of Asia, 9, Amerindian, 8, which are inhabitants of North, South America, and Central America, and so forth. 13 Africa. Well, Africa. Let's click on this link. Alrighty. Now we're going to click on this map. Now the red dots, I want you brothers and sisters to see, these are the red dots from African and Sub-Saharan population, meaning that they are way more intelligent than Asian, Europeans, and so forth, and so on. Now let's explain right here, I would say. Many brothers and sisters, they will say that Scipio Africanus is the one who gave Africa this continent name. But if we do our research thoroughly enough, we know that Scipio Africanus did not give Africa its name. Sure. In fact, it was in the 2nd or 3rd century that the Romans gave Scipio the name Africanus. But it's funny that Scipio's father's last name is not Africanus. Even his mother's name is not Africanus. So when we come up with this terminology, with this misinformation, we would guide our people in the wrong direction. Now the word Africa pertains to a tribal group that was a native in the south of the Mediterranean Sea, in North Africa, Libya. Also, Afri means black. Now, what is the meaning of an African, you will say then? A meaning of an African means that we hold the most polymorphisms. It means that you can see that we hold the most polymorphism dealing with our phenotypes, because the phenotypes clearly indicate as far as where we come from. That's why you can, for example, you can look at an African, he probably don't have a broad nose and a broad lip and a broad forehead. But you see, you got Africans that have skinny noses, thin lips, or whatever the case may be. Because we hold all of that within our genetic information. Well, let's go further now. Most brothers and sisters, they don't talk about our dear beloved ancestors that went through chastisement and slavery underneath the 5 Native American tribes. A group of runaway slaves, African slaves, by the name of the Maroons, who escaped from slavery in the 17th century, then later on joined the Cherokee Nation. Now this is interesting, I would say, because as you and I heard before previously, that we're entitled to the Cherokee Nation. But isn't it strange that the Choctaw Nation held 2,600 slaves? Later on joined the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma for freedom. But in 1842, the Marines and various slaves in Oklahoma orchestrated a revolt against the Cherokee Nation and tried to migrate to Mexico for independence. Vincent Guerrero in 1829 defeated the British colonial powers. And that's how Mexico had its independence, and so forth.
Come on, baby.
Now these are the Native American tribes. I will show you guys inside. Click the link. The enslaved Africans in the South and fled to the Oklahoma and Georgia Native American tribes after the Civil War during slavery for independence from their masters. In 1860, about 30 years after their removal of the Indian Territory from their respective homes in Southeast, Cherokee Nation citizens owned 2,511 slaves, 50% of their total population. The Choctaw citizens owned 2,349 slaves, 14% of their total population. And the Creek citizens owned 1,532 citizens. Slaves, excuse me. 10% of their population, Choctaw citizens owned 975. A proportion equivalent to that of white slave owners in Tennessee, a former neighbor of the Choctaw Nation, the large slaveholding states. These are just images that's indicating our ancestral chastisement, slavery, so forth. I have a tough time pronouncing this brother's name. He was from the Seminoles, Black Seminoles. But before I go further, as far as explaining his story, his testimony, you could say, it's strange to me that all of the Native American tribes participated. And when people say that, oh, I have a grandmother, a cousin, an uncle that have Native American blood within them, but it was within those 5 Native American tribes that practiced interracial marriages and also had children with the black mothers, black women, excuse me. And that's why you see someone who look like they have Native American within their bloodline. They really derived from Africa because it was those African slaves who joined Native American tribes to get away from the slave masters. The Black Seminoles are a small offshoot of the Gullah, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Gullah, excuse me, who escaped from the rice plantations in South Carolina and Georgia. They built their own settlements on the Florida frontier, fought a series of wars to preserve their freedom, and were scattered across North America. They have played a significant role in American history, but have never received any recognition they deserve. Now, these are our ancestors too as well. You were never a Native American. You were enslaved by them simply.
Come on, brother.
Talk about Native American. You were simply enslaved by Native Americans.
Talk about it, brother.
Because if I'm not mistaken, it was the Choctaw Nation who teamed up with the U.S. and Confederate States so they could physically have enslaved Africans within their own possession.
Come on.
These are the 5 Native American communities who owned enslaved Africans. Choctaw. The Choctaw who sided with the Confederacy during the American Civil War held black slaves as captives from warfare when they adopted elements of European culture, such as large farms and plantations. They also incorporated the system of chattel slavery of people of African descent. Slavery was abolished by the Choctaw Nation in 1865. Here, a treaty signed with the U.S. in the same year the Choctaw were required to admit freedmen, blacks newly emancipated from slavery into their tribe. It's funny to me, too, as well, I was saying, most people always want to talk about the Dawes Road. The Dawes Road was a clear indication that I can trace my lineage, I can trace my bloodline, and it shows that I'm a Native American, or I belong to the Choctaw, Seminole, or whatever Native American tribe in which you may belong to. But I would say that the Dawes Road was not based on DNA. The Dawes Road was based upon whether you look Native American or not. It was going based off physical appearance. It wasn't going based off DNA. Many people don't talk about that too as well. Showcase the link anyway. Sorry for that. Anyhow, these are black slaves, Indian masses. This is a book writer. Slavery, emancipation, and citizenship in the Native American South. This is the Seminole Indian. Many people will say that this is an Indian. Last time I checked, Indians, they have Homo sapien, Denisovine, and Neanderthal within their DNA. That's why they look Asian. They look like a monkey.
Say like a monkey?
Like a monkey, brother. You're looking at their DNA.
They do look like a monkey, bro.
This right here. People will say that these are our dear beloved brothers and sisters, or brothers. That's why they sit right on the right hand side. But last time I checked, Africans don't have hair texture like that. They don't have thick curly hair. Last time I checked and I done my research, these people right here, they associate themselves with the Aboriginal Australians. And the Aboriginal Australians derived from the group that migrated out of Africa theory, which was approximately 800,000 years ago and 1.8 million years ago too as well. They 99% Neanderthal.
99%.
Here are facts. Facts. These are facts, though. These are real facts. These are real facts. Oh, God. A beautiful indication of our dear beloved brother with the texture of African hair.
Yeah.
Our sister over there, too, as well. Beautiful African hair. Now, when you talk about Indian, we Native American or whatever the case may be, we must talk about that we are mixed with something. We gotta be mixed with something, you know? It can be like no way that we have curly hair if we not our DNA or our phenotype, so whatever this comes from one parent comes from another parent or whatever the case may be. So we must be mixed with something. We have to be mixed with something. And I don't like the concept you have good hair, curly hair, nice hair and everything. Those are colonialization kind of terminology in which we actually utilize against a brother that we know or a sister that we may know too as well. You have good hair, you got curly hair. Those are colonialization terminology which we utilize.
Right.
But I'm not African because this is so significant. I'm not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me. Many people, they could trace their lineage to Native American anytime when they have a DNA test. But those were your ancestors that came out of Africa and were enslaved by slave masters. And this is pure facts now too as well. Anyone can go and do their research upon this. Now when we say that we are Native Americans, we want to not associate ourselves with being Africans. We gotta question ourselves, what made us have so much of self-hate? Because it's a lot of brothers and sisters, they have so much of self-hate within them. That's why they will never want to identify every time they look at themselves in the mirror. They clearly see that Africa reflects within them. They're like, hey, I'm not. I'm gonna call myself a Native American, right? But it was the same Native Americans that all participated within your slavery and your ancestors' slavery too as well.
Come on.
These are pure facts. I provided the science behind this too as well. Thank you, brother. That we're all Africans. In order,
Talk about
if you want to call yourself a Native American, that means that I have lesser polymorphism than any other race. If I want to, because I clearly showed Asia having 9, Europeans having 8, it means that we have the most intelligence out of all populations.
All right, that's it.
Thank you for your time, though, and I'll just leave you guys with this. It's time for the African men and women to love who they are. Stop trying to run away from their identity. Stop trying to claim something that you're not. Because even the Europeans, they know that we're Africans. But it seems as if we are the only race that do not embrace our own identity. And I'm tired of self-hate even from the conscious community themselves. So they will keep talking about Syrio-Africanus gave Africa its consonant name. Or they will talk about all of these disconnections as far as the information which they may have against the information in which I know. If you won't claim that you're Native American, why the hell your problem is the same as an African? If you are more, why the hell your problem is the same with an African, like an African? All of our problems are the same, but it seems as if we don't never see the bigger picture. And I think that's kind of unintelligent. And I think that we all should take our time and thoroughly examine who we are and love who we are. And that's through the process of self-knowledge, self-love, and etc. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother. Right. Powerful information. Thank you, brother.
It's beautiful facts.
Appreciate you.
I know, brother.